Story number 7. The top 2 stories that made it into the media this week. Some now believe that violence is contagious. Yes, they're saying that with all of the violent atmosphere that we've seen across the world, they're starting to now think it's like a virus and that it's contagious. I think it was a story that was surfacing about gun violence that caught my attention, and it seems to be relating to all violent acts. Kids see adults doing things, so evidently they will try it. So when people see people picking up guns to get everybody riled up, eventually they will try it. So they're finding out that people, when they see things, there's a pretty high chance that somebody else would try to do the same thing. A Florida man drives a golf cart into Walmart. He tries to hit customers. So that when you see violent acts occurring, when you see people do spontaneous things, unbelievable things, it can be contagious. And that's what a lot of analysts and people who are dissecting these stories every week, not just I, not just me, not myself, everybody seems to be finding out that a lot of things that happen in the media, in the news, can be contagious. A London police officer attacked with a machete. So the reason why story number 7 is at the top is because it has a lot of what they say ability to get people to understand why these acts have been occurring and how these acts can be prevented. When you just have mass shootings, you have to look at how they happened and why they happened, and would they have happened centuries ago when people did not have this ability. So you look at how things can become contagious, how things can become repetitive. You have to look at what's causing it and who was the first that did it and who was the second, and how did it bounce up to over 100 something people just constantly randomly going in and shooting mass amounts of people. So sometimes people, they look at this stuff and death is exciting to them, and it can be very, very scary about that child that you leave alone all the time and what he could be plotting on, his revenge, how he's bottling up all that anger up inside, and what happens when all that violence and anger comes out. Very, very scary. 4 dead and 2 injured in a California stabbing rampage. New York teen sentenced to 17 years for fatally stabbing a fellow classmate. 19 bodies found hung, butchered in a suspected Mexico gang turf war. Even with gang violence, you look at the history of gangs, how they were founded. They were founded because some people were left in the dark, some people were left behind. So stories like this, story number 7, it has a lot of ability to stay alive because there's a cause and effect, and when something like this happens, it gains a lot of attention because it's not common for people to want to just go out and shoot innocent people all the time. That's why you do want to look at good stories. You want to find the good in every story, but you also have to dissect it when something goes wrong so you can prevent it and keep it from happening again. It's scary when some people don't think that journalists don't have a soul, when apparently they're just doing their job. And when you look for a story, it's hard to get people to understand how important it is for people to appreciate the life they have. And journalists and media can do that by reporting what goes wrong, to dissect these stories, to keep them from happening again, and keeping the discussion alive so it doesn't happen. When people do things like this, we don't live in a perfect world, but there are people who are left out, and sometimes they don't feel like they have a voice. So story number 7 has a lot of substance, and that's why it can be contagious, because you have to find a cure for the common cold. You have to find a cure for the virus, and that virus is what we see happening all the time in the news when these stories surface, these stories emerge. And some people think it's bad news, some people think it's bad business, but its reality is that these stories surface. There are great things happening every day, and that's where the attention needs to be. But when something goes wrong, we have to figure out how to keep this from happening again, and how to keep people on the right track. And that's why story number 7 is in the top 2, because we've seen mass shootings, we see people lose their lives in countless unbelievable ways of people who are just trying to be heard. And some of these people keep all that anger bottled up inside, and they choose innocent people to let it out. So story number 7 has a lot of substance. You're in the Mediator with me, Brian West, where it's my supreme duty every week to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories. If you want to support my cause in any way, be a contributor, all you have to do is visit www.method8inc.com, method80.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something, or sponsor a program. Doesn't take much. I don't ask for much in this world. I don't ask for much. But if you yourself want to be a contributor, a part of the Mediator in any way, leave a comment, go to the website, check out the stories that almost made it in, check out stories that did make it in, or you just want to help out, you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something to do that, or just sponsor a program. And that's all it takes. I said I don't ask for, all my life I've tried to, stories have kept me alive. I like to read, I like to check things out, and I like to have a what they say, a medium type of discussion. Never elevation. Don't like to argue too much. Keep it calm and collective. That's probably the academic way. So if you want to be a contributor, all you have to do is visit www.method8inc.com, method80.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something, or just sponsor a program.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.